YouTube, what's going on? It's your girl Vanity V here, and I want us to just get into this episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. What would you guys rate this episode? I'm gonna rate it like a 6.5, 7, and I think I'm being generous with that. How are you guys feeling about the Real Housewives of Atlanta so far? You know that the ratings have been down dramatically and significantly. And I think that some of the things that I'm going to talk about today are a lot of the reason why the ratings are down so bad. So let's get into it. I am not loving or happy with this season of The Real Housewives of Atlanta. Therefore, the way that I'm going to recap it is going to be a little shorter than I probably would if I completely recap the whole entire episode, just because I don't think it's worth recapping the whole episode. It's a lot of the same stuff that was happening in the last episode. Although this episode Kandi wasn't even in the last episode. She had I think she was winning some type of award or achievement or something. So she was there receiving that. So she wasn't here for this trip from hell because the trip was terrible, child. They could have left this trip, they could have left this out. Like, I mean... Ooh, but anyway, a lot of this focus of this video is going to be the same as it was the last video. And that is, what is wrong with Marlo? Let's just dive into that and kind of dissect this. So I made a video recently last week where I talked about how Marlo is obsessed with Kandi. And I still stand firm in that. I believe that Marlo is completely obsessed with Kandi. And I think... we had some really good dialogue. So please check out that video if you guys have not seen that. Me and, my viewers, we've had some really good dialogue on that. But I think that the obsession is almost equally as bad for Kenya, right? I mean, I'm almost convinced that Marlo is so upset with Kandi and Kenya because she's jealous of them. I think that those two are the top dogs of the show. And I think that Marlo is vying for the type of love and appreciation that those two get from the fans and from the network, because we already know Kandi's the favorite. I think she's a favorite housewives of all the franchises of the housewives from Bravo. And Kenya is also a favorite. So I think the two Ks, Kandi and Kenya, I honestly think that Marlo is jealous of them. And I think that the jealousy that she has for them is turning very, very dangerous. So when we get into the episode, we kind of start right back from when Marlo was at Kenya's door, okay, in the hotel room. And she's banging on the door saying, "Summer, Summer." Marlo, what is wrong with you? I hope that Bravo has a conversation with her, because it's teetering on. It's just like, so this is my thing. Marlo, you're lucky that the type of women that you're dealing with have something to lose, because your behavior is so unacceptable. And I'm almost equally as irritated with Sonya, Courtney, Sheree, and Monyetta. Monyetta, you should be ashamed of yourself. Kenya is your girl. There's no way that my friend in real life, if someone else who I know doesn't see it for her, comes banging on her door with her kid inside, that I'm not going to put a stop to it. Monyetta, you didn't do anything. Why? How did you and Sheree just sit there and let this woman bang on her, like on her door in the hotel? Marlo, you're lucky you didn't get arrested. What are you doing? There's other people that are staying in the hotel as well. You just banging like you the damn police that's looking for someone who's been selling narcotics. What's wrong with you? I couldn't, but that was hard to watch. I could not believe that Marlo was doing that. And like I said, I'm equally as irritated with the other girls for even allowing that. And then Kenya comes to the door and it's like, "What the hell are you doing? My daughter's in here. Get away from my door." Excuse me, y'all. I'm getting hyped up because that's how upset that scene made me. And then you have the nerve to tell Kenya, "Go put your daughter in another room." Girl, if you don't get the hell out of here, you lucky you didn't. You're lucky that she didn't steal on you. Because what are you doing? Like, I could not believe that Marlo, as a woman, I'm sure well into your 40s, probably almost hitting 50, that you are behaving in that manner, knowing that this woman has her kid in there. Are you crazy? everybody in that scene should be ashamed of themselves. Even production, I feel like there's a point where production should step in. They should not have been allowing her to do that. And honestly, what if you damage the door? Like, what are you doing? What kind of example are you setting for your nephews? And then, girl, you talking about, oh, I want to get my record expunged. What judge is gonna, I'm sure the judge is gonna take into account all of your behavior in order to expunge, your record. What judge is gonna do that with you behaving with that? I would look at this and be like, madam, you're not ready for your record to be expunged because you're still exhibiting some of that behavior that got you into some of these legal situations in the first place. So I just could not believe that. And again, like I said, I'm not just going to full out say that these women need like a bodyguard, but Marlo, it's so out of hand. Between your mouth, the way that you go below the belt for no reason to stuff like this, it's just not okay. So then, you know what? Then you start getting into it with Monyetta. You guys, you're trying to walk away from Monyetta. Monyetta is standing her ground, which I appreciate. She's like, no, you're not going to speak to me any type of way. They're all following you. And then you take the door and slam it in Monyetta's face. Like, and then you're lying in confessional saying that you didn't do that. Like, girl, you definitely slammed the door in her face, Marlo. Like, don't it's in my face and tell me it's rain. Like, don't do that. You slammed the door in the girl's face and then you're saying you didn't do it. Girl, you might as well just go ahead and forget about that record getting expunged. It's not getting expunged. Marlo, you haven't changed. You just got a little bit more money and visibility, so you're not going to act a whole plum fool, just a plum fool, like not the two plums. You're not going to completely act a fool, like slicing and dicing people, but you're still doing stuff like the PG version of like slicing a girl's face. And then didn't the girl's face that you sliced, didn't she delete herself? You got the nerve to be talking about what happened in Candy's restaurant, Blaze. Girl, if you don't go sit down somewhere, I can't even take it. So then you do that. You're getting into it with Monyetta. Then you walk outside or whatever to try to calm yourself down. You come back inside, you talking ish. And then like Monyetta, which I like Monyetta a lot. I don't know if she's good for this group of girls. Like, and then like Monyetta's shade isn't really giving in her. Like she's like, I feel like she's too nice, for this group of girls. Like, and we're not getting like the fun shade. Well, that's a whole other subject. I'm not even gonna go there for Monyetta, but I almost feel like Monyetta's too good for this group of girls. But you're getting into it with her, and then Monyetta, you call Kenya, and she gets on the phone, and then she's like telling you pretty much like, I want everybody who's not my friend, I want you guys to leave. And then, so Sonya's like, okay, well, what about me? Like, I'm here. I came down here. I'm going to come back. Like, also like Kenya's not telling everybody why she's there. We know that she wants to surprise the girls with her performance, at the Magic City Classic. But the girls want to know, like, what are we here for? It's something much more. It has to be. And so Kenya basically tells Sonya, like, girl, just go home and you don't need to come back. So although I thought that was mean, I understood it because like Kenya and Sonya are not friends. Like at the end of the day, Sonya, you ride for Marlo and you like, I don't want to say you egg Marlo on because you don't do that, but you damn sure enable her. Like you definitely enable, Marlo's behavior. You don't check her when she's wrong, and we've seen you do it. So like if I'm beefing with her and I'm not that cool with you, I don't really blame Kenya for saying like, girl, you don't need to come back. Because you keep talking about how, girl, I'm coming back for you. Well, just stay in Atlanta. Like you said, you got to work. It's cool. And again, I don't think that Kenya should have invited anybody besides Sheree and Monyetta either. And Kenya, you might want to evaluate your relationship with Sheree too, because Sheree's playing both sides of the fence as well. And it's like, it seems like y'all have grown a real relationship, but I don't know, girl. I think you need to question that one as well. So then, we have that happen or whatever. And so Sonya goes and gets her stuff and she comes back down. She's like, well, I'm leaving. And so she tells Marlo, girl, she want me to leave. She damn sure wants you to leave. And Marlo's like, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going to get ran out of here. Marlo, why do you want to stay? Like you and King, I don't know what I don't know. This had to be production, like almost forcing Kenya to invite you, because I don't know why you were there. You don't like Kenya. Kenya definitely doesn't like you. So I don't know why you're there. Like, if I was Kenya, you would have ran out of grace for me. Like, I would never speak to you again, outside of what I absolutely had to speak to you about on the show. Marlo, the way you have treated Kenya is abysmal. Like, you're getting there with Candy, but you have treated Kenya the worst. And the reason why I say that is the comment that you made to her about her mom a few seasons ago. Like, I would have never spoken to you about that, which is weird because, you know, Marlo, you also have issues with abandonment from your mom. So I just find it interesting that you will poke at Kenya. And I'm digressing because this happened already, but it's relevant because it goes to the fact of why, if I were Kenya, I would never speak to you. Like, you have done so many things to this woman that is like, we can't even count at this point. And so, but anyway, nonetheless, you stay. You're not leaving, so you stay. All right, so then we fast forward, you know, to the next day, and we find out, you know, Kenya wakes up. She's short of breath. She's dizzy. She's not feeling good, you know, and so she asks production to call an ambulance. The ambulance comes upstairs. They're knocking on the door. And so Sheree comes out of her room, because Sheree was like right next to Kenya, and she's like, well, what's going on? And, you know, she finds out that, you know, Kenya's not feeling good. She's scared and she's nervous. And we also find out she kind of just recovered from COVID. So it could have possibly been some side effects from that. So, you know, Sheree tells all the girls what happened. Kenya goes to the hospital. They call her and they're asking, like, can we come up there to see you because we're worried about you, etc., etc. Of course, Kenya says no, like, it can't be a gang of y'all coming up here, and she don't want y'all up there anyway. So then, look, I'm all about prayer, child, but I wouldn't want Marlo praying for me about nothing. I don't want, Marlo, you couldn't pray. I don't want you praying. No, I don't want nothing, no prayers for me coming out your mouth from Marlo. Like, no, like, no. I would not, if I was Kenya, I would say, y'all, next time Marlo can't lead the prayer, I'm gonna need one of y'all to do it. Like, I don't want this woman praying over my life. You know, nonetheless, Marlo leads the prayer. It was the prayer was cute, but girl, you can't treat me like that and pray for me and then be nice to me and then say my mama didn't love me and then do this and then say, well, that's why, you know, Mark don't love you. And it's just like, it's the ping pong merry-go-round of Marlo acting a fool and then being nice and then acting a fool and saying I'm gonna change and then not changing and then coming back and, oh, you guys, what was me, and then acting a fool. Like, it's too much. Like, when is the behavior gonna change? So Marlo prays for Kenya, and, you know, then her and Monyetta have this makeup, which if I was Monyetta, I would have been like, girl, if you don't get out of my face. But Monyetta says her superpower is that she's kind, which I love kindness, but also, like, it's okay for you to, like, be, you know, cordial with somebody. Like, there's only so much I'm gonna take, or you treated me like this, talking to me crazy before it's like, hey girl, and that's all you're gonna get from me, like, and you'll be lucky if you get that. So then, you know, we and I'm gonna just briefly talk about this. You know, Candy, there's a scene with Candy with Todd, and Todd, you know, they're kind of going over his idea of the movie called The Past, which I actually like the idea of the movie. The movie is where there's two people that are married and they both decide to give each other a pass in the bedroom, which is very interesting because, you know, I'm sure this can probably relate to a lot of people that's married. I don't know if that would fit my life, but, you know, the idea of the movie, it sounds interesting. I definitely want to see it when it comes out. And so, you know, they're kind of talking about this idea. And of course, while they're sitting down and they're talking about this, Candy is getting phone calls and things like that. And Todd's kind of like, Candy, I'm gonna need you to, you know, give me 5-10 minutes without you touching your phone. You know, it just kind of goes back to Todd in the previous episodes talking about how Candy is not always present when he needs her, but then when she needs him, he's all in. And so, Candy, we talked about this before, girl. You need to continue to work on that. You got to be better. You know, there's no reason for you to be texting and accepting calls when you're in a meeting with your husband about something he said he really needs you with. If it's not about your kids, you should give him your undivided attention. So Kandi, you got to get better with that. So what else happened in this little boring episode, child? And then, you know, we have, you know, Drew, she's talking to Kenya and kind of, you know, Kenya's filling her in on, you know, what happened on the trip. And then, you know, Drew's kind of telling her what actually happened with Marlo and herself, you know, when they got into their argument and Marlo got in her face and was acting ridiculous. Another instance of Marlo being ridiculous, getting in her face, screaming, calling her the B word. You know, again, nobody's surprised. It's just, again, Marlo being Marlo. And then, you know, at the end of the episode, we have Courtney. She's inviting the girls to whatever. And Kenya's like, well, how did she get my number? She's inviting the girls to an event that we'll see next week. And then we see the previews for it. Kandi, once again, goes ballistic on Marlo. So in closing, number one, Real Housewives, I'm gonna need y'all to amp this up because I'm so invested in this show. I'm sure I'll continue watching, but it really is getting to the point where I'm not loving it. I'm not in love with the show like I used to be. And I really think that Marlo has something to do with it. And it's like I wanna like Marlo so much, but I feel like I don't like what she's doing. You know, it's kind of similar to like what Giselle did to our girl Candace last season. It's like ugly, like the whole, you know, when Giselle put those nasty rumors on Candace's husband that were just so terrible. It's like, we didn't like that. Like, I don't want to see the takedown of someone for absolutely no reason. And, you know, although, again, it's not necessarily a takedown of Kandi and Kenya, but I just, the nastiness and the unnecessary nature of what Marlo is doing, it's just giving obsessive, compulsive, nasty, gross. Like, this is not a representation of what the Real Housewives of Atlanta should be. You know, the past characters, Portia, Nene, they were not, well, Phaedra did. I was going to almost say Phaedra, but then I'm going to take that back because Phaedra, you know what you did in your last season. But this is not what the Real Housewives of Atlanta is about. We like to see the relationships. We like the personal stories. And we want to see like fun shade, funny. Like we want to laugh. And that's what like Nene and Portia gave us. And they gave us their fun lives, their personalities, their interactions. We want that. We don't want this, Marlo. You doing this kind of stuff, Marlo, you are definitely downgrading, you know, the relevancy of this show, and you are single-handedly taking the ratings down. So you gotta tuck in your obsession with Kandi and Kenya, and you gotta do better, Marlo. And so we'll see how it goes for the rest of the season. Something's telling me that it's just only downhill from here, but I don't know that Marlo's gonna have a peach next season if she continues with this, because I think that the overwhelming consensus of the viewers of the show is the same. We're not feeling this, Marlo. And it's just disgusting, and you gotta stop. And hopefully this season serves as a reflection or a mirror for you to see how you are acting to make some change, because we don't want this. So anyway, that's all I got for this episode, y'all. I hope that you guys have a great day. Please like and subscribe. Again, I'm going to continue to reiterate, I am growing my channel. I'm loving growing my channel. And I hope that you guys, you know, are invested in getting to know me better as well. So like and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. You guys take care. Bye-bye.